Bokos Kalazik, a dedicated police officer bravely positioned before an unstoppable adversary, a monstrous basilisk. Aware of his slim chances of victory, he assumes the role of a true hero, selflessly safeguarding a young woman standing behind him. His noble act promises the possibility of a substantial reward. Nevertheless, the menacing basilisk stands poised, prepared to petrify him without hesitation. A few days ago, an unexpected series of events unfolded for Bogos as he found himself in a boat with his uncle Bardocha near Warsaw. Engaged in a shared fishing expedition, they noticed a trembling sensation in their vessel while casting their lines. Mistaking it for a fish, they continued their angling efforts undeterred. After a long day of fishing, they settled down with their freshly caught fish and kindled a fire to smoke their meal. It was during this meal that Bardocha shared an intriguing thought with Bogos, encouraging him to imagine being a fish, living its daily aquatic routine until encountering a hook and becoming ensnared. This hypothetical fish met a grim fate, being smoked, cooked, and consumed without any accompanying sorrow or lamentation. Bardocha wondered how Bogos would feel if he were trapped in such a situation. Bogos suggests to Bardocha that if fishing doesn't appeal to him, they could try mushroom picking the next day. However, Bardocha rejects the idea, deeming mushrooms to lack nutritional value and not worth their time, and insists on sticking with fishing. While conversing, Bogos notices a convoy of trucks on the nearby road. Leaving Bardocha in the woods, he ventures toward the road to investigate. There he observes trucks adorned with the name Iron Mountain. Once the trucks depart, he returns to Bardocha and shares his discovery. In response, Bardocha clarifies that there is no place called Iron Mountain. Their locality is referred to as Iron City. After their meal, they settle down to rest, arranging their beds near the woods. In the depths of the midnight hours, a passing plane catches Bogos's attention and triggers a dream within him. In this dream, he becomes an observer as the sky metamorphoses into a stone-encased mirror. As the mirror begins to fracture, he catches a mesmerizing glimpse of a young woman trapped within its confines. Awaking from this ethereal experience, the silence is swiftly shattered by the sound of a truck. Intrigued, Bogos follows the noise to the road, where he discovers a truck firmly entrenched in the sand, with the same woman from his dream behind the wheel. Approaching her with a willingness to help lift the vehicle, he is met with her unresponsiveness. She merely fixes her gaze upon him before driving away. At the very least, Bogos learns a crucial lesson from this encounter. One should never pursue a romantic interest based solely on a dream encounter. As he watches her truck recede into the distance, Bardocha joins him. Drawing from his own life, Bardocha shares a similar experience with his ex-wife, who feigned indifference until their union and subsequent parenthood led to their eventual divorce. Bogos provides solace to Bardocha, assuring him that it is never too late to move forward and discover renewed happiness. As they make preparations for their fishing expedition, Bogos finds his mind consumed by thoughts of the enigmatic lady. By chance, a radio broadcast reveals an unusual occurrence in Mazovian voivodeship, where an entire city has inexplicably been cut off from its surroundings. Intriguingly, it is in the same direction that the young lady is heading. Bogos persuades Bardocha to join him in investigating the matter, despite Bardocha playfully teasing him about his true intentions. Reluctantly, Bardocha agrees to accompany him. However, during their journey to the location where the Iron Mountain trucks are stationed, Bardocha succumbs to slumber, blissfully unaware of the unfolding events. Bogos, aware of the unsettling nature of the place, makes the decision to conduct his own investigation while noticing Bardocha peacefully asleep in the car. Taking note of the surrounding properties, he assumes they are associated with some kind of support club. With his police identity card on display, he calls out to anyone in the vicinity, emphasizing his affiliation with the police department. Unfortunately, nobody responds to him. Intrigued by a nearby deep hole, he becomes captivated by curiosity and decides to descend. As he reaches the bottom, he is confronted by a disturbing sight. A person turned to stone, their gaze frozen upon him. Caught off guard, he loses his balance and tumbles down the cliff, screaming in terror upon reaching the bottom. Meanwhile, the police officer assumes the presence of people and comments on their lack of fear toward law enforcement. Undeterred, Bogos forges ahead into the depths of the mountain. It is there that he encounters a multitude of stone formations resembling human figures. prompting him to question the true nature of the situation. While observing the statuesque figures, with their hands outstretched, he suddenly encounters a living person who urgently implores him to flee. Filled with fear, he hides, witnessing the person undergo a transformation into stone right before his eyes. In this chilling moment, he also overhears a voice. A haunting voice warns against getting closer to avoid the fate of turning into stone. Equipped with a nearby tool, Bogos strikes the creature, forcing it to temporarily retreat. At that moment, the young woman he had encountered earlier rushes towards him, imploring him to leave. Ignoring her plea, Bogos persists in his pursuit. However, as they approach the creature, the girl urgently insists he reconsider, emphasizing the dire consequences of petrification. Despite her warning, Bogos remains undeterred. The creature's luminous eyes suddenly come into view, steadily advancing towards him. Overwhelmed by the sight, Bogos instinctively flees. Escaping the depths of the hole with the girl, they seek assistance. Yet the relentless creature continues its pursuit. Taking refuge beneath one of the trucks, they hide while the creature persistently calls for Bogos to reveal himself. Seizing an opportunity, Bogos throws a stone in another direction to divert the creature's attention and seeks advice from the woman next to him. She advises him to acquire a mirror, explaining that the only way to defeat a basilisk is to confront it with its own reflection. After a challenging search, Bogos eventually locates a mirror. As the basilisk approaches, he impulsively hurls the mirror at the creature, shattering it. Annoyed, the girl reproaches him, clarifying that the mirror was meant to show the basilisk its own reflection, thereby turning it to stone. Luckily, Bardocha awakens just in time and employs their car to strike the basilisk, causing it to tumble back into the hole. Relieved, they believe the creature has met its demise, and Bogos takes the opportunity to introduce his uncle to the girl. However, their momentary respite is abruptly interrupted as the basilisk resurfaces. Seizing Bardocha, it throws him aside and uses its tail to hurl Bogos away. Desperate to compel the girl's compliance, the basilisk implores her to gaze upon its face, but she resists, not raising her head. Meanwhile, on the ground, Bogos falls into yet another trance. Within this altered state, the image of the girl showed and trapped in the fractured stone sky vanishes. He contemplates whether this will mark their ultimate defeat, brought down by a mere chicken. Suddenly, he notices a symbol on his palm, resting against the stony, mirrored sky, and a phone lying nearby. Rising to his feet, he seizes the phone and positions the mirror on its screen directly towards the creature's face. As he locks his gaze onto the basilisk, his own body begins to exhibit signs of deterioration. Undeterred, he persistently directs the phone's mirror towards the creature until it succumbs, turning into stone. Following the basilisk's transformation, the girl and Bardocha approach Bogos. Later that evening, the girl's team arrives to evacuate the victims, while Bogos sits in the company of Bardocha. Bardocha reveals his intention to return to public service, filling Bogos with joy. The lady approaches him and informs him that her team will contact him at a later time. Curious, he asks if that's all he can expect, prompting her to inquire about his other desires. He expresses his wish for a dinner together, and she graciously invites him to join her on Sunday at 8 p.m. Before parting ways, she playfully warns him against bringing a flower as a gift. The future of their relationship remains uncertain, depending on the young woman's connection to these creatures. If you enjoy the content on this channel, please show your support with like and subscribe. And we would like to hear your movie suggestion for the next recap. See you soon!